got bad news for Raiders fans. Aiden Noconnell and Gardner Minshew have been struggling in training camp up to this point. They've been really inconsistent. They've been throwing hospital balls to Devontae Adams. And this is not good when it comes to the Raider fans out there who've been coming at me one-sided all this offseason saying how they're going to win 9-10 games and they don't need to have great quarterback play to do so. With how bad Aiden Noconnell and Gardner Minshew look up to this point in camp, man, I don't even think the Raiders are going to be able to win more than 4 or 5 games this year because you got to play Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes twice. You got to face off against Lamar, Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford, Tua. It's going to be hard for you to win games like this if you don't have at least halfway competent quarterback play. And there's been a lot of Raiders fans, believe it or not, who've been gassing up Aiden Noconnell, thinking that he could be the second coming of Tom Brady. And it's just been a really slow start for the Raiders quarterback position to start off camp. Antonio Pierce, he hasn't said who's currently winning the job at this moment. Right now, it seems like he's just trying to prolong naming a starter so he can get the best out of both of these dudes. But the Raiders really don't have a chance to have too much success this year if they can't get at least average quarterback play out of one of these dudes. And a lot of Raiders fans are really high on Aiden Noconnell based off how well he played to end last year. You know, he had outstanding performance Thursday night against the Chargers. He was pretty good against the Colts and the Denver Broncos. And Gardner Minshew, he damn near led the Indianapolis Colts to the postseason in replace of Anthony Richardson. So you definitely understand where some of the Raiders fans are coming from and their optimism about their quarterback room. But let's just be honest. There's no way you're going to be able to be a playoff team if you don't get great quarterback play out of these dudes. Your schedule is way harder than what it was last year. And most of the Raiders' wins under Antonio Pierce last year came against backup quarterbacks. The only win they had against a team that was above 500 was the Kansas City Chiefs, and Aiden Noconnell played awful in that game. They didn't complete a single pass in that ball game after the first quarter. So if you are really serious about the Raiders having a winning season this year, you may need to reconsider that thinking because, I mean, with what we've been hearing about them coming out of training camp right now, it looks like their quarterback play is still going to be a big hindrance to them having a successful season. And I'm not a Raiders hater. I call myself a Raiders truther. And the truth is, you can't win in today's NFL by just relying on your defense and having a great run game like how Raiders fans think they're going to be able to do this year, man. Listen, the Raiders defense needs to be playing like the 85 Bears or the 2000 Baltimore Ravens defense if they want to get to the postseason this year. This definitely could be a top 5 unit, but absolutely no chance are they going to be able to overcome Aiden Noconnell and Gardner Minshew giving them below average QB play. Even if you do have an all-around talented team, which the Raiders do have, the quarterback position is the most important position to winning and losing in today's NFL. If they would have had a better quarterback, or let's say they would have drafted Michael Penix or Jaden Daniels in this past year's draft, I would have them as a surefire playoff team. But you're not going to win a lot of games in 2024 throwing out Aiden Noconnell and Gardner Minshew. And some Raiders fans are going to say, well, JT, maybe they're struggling just because we got a great defense. Listen, they have had nothing but terrible days offensively. Their best day of practice came Tuesday, but even that wasn't really all that great. Even if you do have a truly outstanding defense, your quarterback should at least be able to put together 2-3 good practices, and Gardner Minshew and Aiden Noconnell have yet to be able to do that. And it's really surprising for me, who's not a Raiders fan, to see a good amount of this fan base so high on how good they think this ball club can be when their quarterback position is as bad as what it's ever been. in the last 8 years. When you had Derek Carr, you never had concerns about how good your QB play was going to be. You knew that at worst, Derek Carr was going to be average. But at his best, he was a top 13, top 12 quarterback. And now they're really starting to regret their decision to get rid of him. Because now, in the way toughest division, where you have Sean Payton, who now has his quarterback, you got Justin Herbert, who now is going to have Jim Harbaugh, you're not going to have 2-4 easy wins like how you had last year when you had the opportunity to go against a Justin Herbert-less Chargers team that had quit on their head coach at the time. Sean Payton, the Broncos are going to be way better under him in year 2 with Bo Nix at the helm because he's a better fit for what he wants out of his quarterback. Bo Nix is going to run the style of offense that Sean Payton wasn't able to because Russell Wilson had a limited skill set. So with the Raiders' quarterback struggles going on in training camp right now, I don't see too much improving from this point on until the season starts, because we knew, most of us that were realistic understood that the Raiders at best were probably going to be a 7-win team this year. I don't know why the hell some Raiders fans actually think they have a chance of having a winning record this year when you got 2 of the worst starting quarterbacks in the game competing for your starting quarterback job, but they're not going to go too far this year. You got a really nice team. Your offensive line is going to be improved. We know the defense is going to be nice, but quarterback just ruins everything for the Raiders this year.